Hi, welcome to the Mindful Movement. I'm Sara Raymond, and today I have a practice for you that is a short practice, and we'll start with a little bit of movement, a little bit of self-massage, and work to get your nervous system calm and in the right state. A little bit of stretching, and then I'll finish with a short meditation, a reading for you, and then I'll offer you a journal prompt that will continue the process of self-inquiry that we've started when we practiced our meditation. So all you need is a mat and your willingness to give it a try. And if you have a journal, you might have that handy for the end of the practice, or of course you can just use paper, pencil, computer, whatever you like to jot your notes down at the end of our practice. So let's get started. So you'll come into a comfortable seated position. You can be on the floor, you can roll your mat up, elevate your hips, you could be on a couch, a chair, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And then just let your arms rest on your lap or by your sides. Close your eyes. And we'll start with a very brief check-in. And I like to start with this to offer you a moment to turn your attention inward, to give you almost like a pause where you're stopping whatever you were doing before this, and this is your signal that you're starting your practice, taking time to take care of yourself and connect with yourself. So as you notice your state, release judgment, release expectations. Let this be a baseline of simply where you are right now. And then when you have completed your check-in, blink your eyes open. And we'll begin with a little bit of self-massage. So you can take your hands and place them as if you're trying to grab the skin of your back, so over your shoulders. And then you're pulling the skin from your back forward. You could do both hands at the same time or one at a time. Maybe let your head move in response and start to feel a little bit of release, a little bit of relaxation. And then you'll grab those muscles with your hands, squeeze as you lift your shoulders up towards your ears, and then release and let your shoulders drop down. You might even imagine you're squeezing water out of a sponge. Squeeze and lift, and then release. Do that a few more times. Squeeze and lift. And release. One more time. Squeeze, lift your shoulders, and then release. Let your shoulders drop down. Good. And then turn your fingers towards your spine on your neck, and then you'll be pulling outward. So you're coming from the bony part of your spine outward. You might drop your head back. Just explore a little bit from your shoulders all the way up to the base of your head. And then take your hands right behind your ears. You'll find a little bony point there, and you'll use your fingers, and you're almost cupping. It's kind of ropey like, this muscle, cupping and pulling down towards the middle of your collarbone. And if your neck is feeling a little bit tight, you might do one side at a time and add a little head tilt to stretch your neck. You could use both hands on one side. Just explore a little bit. You might find one side is tighter than the other and you want to spend a little longer there. That is, of course, you can stay there and work a little longer. And then once you're finished there, you can just relax your arms, let your shoulders find a little ease. And then I'll mirror you. You'll tip your right ear towards your right shoulder. And then you can use your right hand. Just be very gentle and gently assist that stretch, making sure your left shoulder is coming down away from your ears. And then holding this gentle stretch, take your eyes only to your left as far as you can. So you're looking left, but your head is tipping right. Take a nice deep breath in and out. Let's take 2 more breaths in this position, coming out of it sooner if you need to. Let your body release and soften with each exhale. And then take your time, release the position. I always feel I need to blink my eyes a little bit, so go for that if you'd like to. And then you'll tip your head to your left. And just take your time getting there, there's no rush. Your left hand can assist if you'd like, completely optional. And then keeping your head in this position, move your eyes only as far to your right as you can. And then taking again our deep breaths here. Letting your breath go, any tension, any tightness with each exhale. So about 3 breaths there. You might even want to sigh a little. And then again, take your time, no rush. Release your hand, your head, blink your eyes a few times. Good. Okay, and then we'll start to move the spine a little bit more. So you can lift your left arm, right arm by your side. And then as you side bend to your right, think of really lifting and opening the left side of your body, keeping the left sit bone heavy on the ground. And then we'll take it to the other side. Lift your right arm, side bend to your left. Easy in your neck and shoulders. And then as you come back to center, we'll continue to add a rotation. So side bending first to your right. Make sure that left sit bone stays down. And then turn your shoulders towards the floor. Reach your left arm forward like it's creating a diagonal line. And then we'll untwist and return. And then same thing on the other side. Lift your right arm, side bend left. Turn your shoulders towards the floor. Reach your arm forward. Untwist and lift back up. So adding on again, side bend first to your right, rotate your shoulders towards the floor. So we've done all of this so far. Now we'll take that top arm towards the floor and you're gonna make a big circle. So you're taking your arm across the body so you end up on the other side. And then we'll come back to the first side. Lift ourselves up and return to center. So now lifting right arm, side bend left, turn your shoulders towards the floor, reach through that right arm, and we'll take our chest towards our thighs as we circle around to the other side. And then back to the side you came from. Untwist and lift yourself back up. And then let's switch the ankle cross. If you had your ankles crossed, I should say. Otherwise, you'll just go through it without the ankles crossed. And we'll go through that one more time on each side. So left arm lifts, side bend to your right, rotate your shoulders, circle forward, back to your right, and lift yourself up. Other side, lift your right arm, side bend left. Turn your shoulders, keep reaching long through your right arm as you circle. And then back to your left, untwist, and return upright. All right, so hopefully we're a little bit loosened up through the hips and the spine. And now we're gonna come onto our hands and knees. So feel free to pad up under your knees if you need. You can fold your mat, or you can grab a blanket or a towel just to give you a little extra cushion if you feel like you need it. And then we'll come into a hands and knees position. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And then we'll find pretty much a flat back. So you're not rounded here or arched, you're right in the middle. And then we'll start to rock forward and backward a few times. So keeping your spine neutral, meaning as you go backwards, careful not to tuck the tailbone under. And if you feel like there's any areas of resistance, perhaps in the hip joints or the shoulders, you can pause where you meet that resistance. Take a deep breath in and out, and then rocking forward and backward again. Okay, and then find your middle. You'll take the left leg out to the left, and you can just place your heel in line with your right knee here. And then round your back, tucking the tailbone, tucking the chin, and then arch. So inhaling, lift your tailbone up, lift your chin and head. Exhale, round. Inhale to arch. One more time. Okay, and then a little bit of rocking backward and forward. And again, if you find you hit resistance, you pause, you breathe. And then continue. And then carefully just walk your hands closer to your knees. You come up to a tall position here. Lift your right arm. Try to straighten out through that right hip and side bend to your left. Come back to center. Carefully bring your hands back down. Left knee in. And then we're gonna switch sides. I'll just turn around. So we'll take right foot out to the right, heel in line with your left knee, and then going through cat-cow here. So lifting the tail, lifting the head as you inhale, and then exhale, rounding. Tuck your tailbone, tuck your chin. And then come back to the flat back position and rock backwards and forwards a few times. Hands in closer to your knee, come up to a tall kneeling. So straighten through your left hip, left arm lifts, and side bend to your right. Nice deep breath in. And back up. All right, now we'll come into a child's pose position. So your knees can be apart, big toes together, or you can have your knees together, whichever feels more comfortable. Bring your hips back over your heels. Slowly walk your hands out, lowering your chest down. Maybe your forehead comes to the floor. If it doesn't quite, you might stack your hands and rest your forehead on stacked hands or fists. Give yourself a little bit of a shift side to side through your hips. And then we'll add a side bend here. So let's walk our hands over to our right as far as you can. Reach a little longer through your left fingers, finding that same diagonal we were working from seated. Breathing in and out. And then hands will go to your left. Ribs over that left thigh as you reach a little longer through your right hand, right arm. Breathing into the right side of your ribs and underarm, right waist. And then come back to center. And then you'll come onto your hands and knees again. And we're going to just slowly lower down onto our belly. Okay, so just taking a moment to arrive here. So for some folks, this might be a little bit strenuous, depending on how your posture naturally is. So take a couple breaths here. Just let your body relax. And then work your way into a propped up position. So elbows will be under your shoulders. And if this feels like it's too much arch in your lower back, you can always take your elbows a little wider. All right, so you're pressing your forearms down, lifting your chest, pulling your chest through your arms. And you'll take a couple breaths here just to, again, settle, get yourself kind of at ease in this position. And just like we did rocking, if you feel like you're coming to resistance in your body, like tightness or gripping, take a few breaths and just send your breath into that area. Imagine you could breathe through all the pores of your skin. Okay, and then as you're finding ease, we'll start to add some movement. So we're going to be side bending to the right. So eyes will lead the way. So I look right, and then I'm bringing my right shoulder towards my right hip, looking at my feet behind me. Try not to sag down in your forearms. Hold for a breath. And then come back to center, maybe blinking. And then eyes lead the way to the left. So eyes, left shoulder goes towards the left hip, and I'm looking behind me at my feet. If you can see them, deep breath, back to center. So same thing now to the right, eyes, shoulders, ribs. Now once you're in this side bend, bend your left knee, pulling your heel towards your butt. Keep lifting your chest tall, not sinking down. And then back to center. So eyes left, shoulders and ribs left, and then right knee is bending here. Back to center. Let's do one more on each side like that. Eyes to the right, shoulders to the right, left knee is bending. Center, and one more to the left. Eyes left, head left, shoulders left, right knee is bending. Deep breath. And back to center. And then you'll come down again. Stack your hands, rest your cheek or your forehead on your hands. Deep breath. Let go of any tension, resistance, gripping. Roll onto our back. And then hug your knees in toward your chest, either holding at the shins or behind the thighs. Gently rock side to side. And then you can keep your knees in toward your chest. You'll take your arms out to the sides. And then let's take the knees and hips all the way to the floor on the left side. I'm just going to scoot over a little. And your right shoulder will likely come up off the mat. That's okay. If you can, take your right knee a little forward so that your knees are a little more stacked. And then reach your right arm back on a diagonal, so a little bit above your shoulder, if your shoulder is okay with that. Remember, try not to go into a place of discomfort. Palm facing the ceiling on that right hand. Couple deep breaths here. And then we'll make kind of a snow angel motion with this right hand, right arm. So we're lifting the arm overhead, keeping the palm facing up if you can. And then you'll take your arm out and then down towards your hips. Keeping your arm as close to the ground as you can throughout. But if you need to, of course, lower your lift your arm a little higher if you need. Okay, and then we'll take our time, maybe even use your left hand to help your knees back to center. And then reposition if you need to, and we'll go to the other side. So knees in toward your chest, and then they go over to your right. Maybe slide the left knee forward so they're as level as possible. And then first just holding the left arm out at this diagonal angle, taking a few breaths. And then beginning the sweeping snow angel motion. So your left arm goes overhead, palm facing the ceiling, and then down towards your hips. Keeping your arm as close to the ground as you're able without straining. You know, this side feels a little tighter for me, so it's a little different range of motion. And then you can use your right hand to help your knees back to center. Reposition on the mat if you need. And then we'll do an exercise here on our back with your legs straight or bent. Really, it's just a matter of your personal comfort. If you're able to, interlace your hands and take your interlaced hands right to the base of your head. Almost like you were going to be doing a crunch, but you're not going to lift your head. If this is uncomfortable, you can use one hand and not the other, or you could put a rolled up towel or pillow under your head. We're just trying to lengthen the back of the neck a bit. All right, so if your hands are under your head, just relax your shoulders and elbows, and then you're gently lengthening the base of your head away from your shoulders. So you might experience your chin coming toward your chest a little bit. And then once you have your head in position, it's going to stay still and we'll move the eyes only. So start by taking your eyes as far to your right as you can, looking as far right as you're able without turning your head. And then keeping the eyes to the right, we'll go for a couple humming breaths. So taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, you're creating a humming noise. So it's audible, there's a vibration in the throat. And you'll do that 2 more times, letting your exhale be as long as possible. Let the humming encourage the length. And when you feel like you can't breathe out anymore, you breathe in. So 3 all together at your own pace. Letting your body relax, find ease, release tension. When you've completed your 3, blink your eyes back to center. Notice if anything has changed. And then take your eyes only, without moving your head, as far to your left as you can. Nice and easy. And then 3 more humming breaths. Deep inhale. Audible humming exhale. Continue on your own. 2 more. Relax. Breathe out as long as you can. One more breath at your own pace. When you're finished, you bring your eyes back to center, gently blinking. You can release your hands And then maybe close your eyes for just a moment and check in. Just like we started, without expectations, without any judgments. Right. And then you can stay here on your back if you'd like. We're going to go into a breathing practice and a meditation, or you can come up to seated. I'm going to make my way to seated. So again, your choice, stay on your back if you'd like, or come to seated. Either way, close your eyes once you get into position. Take a moment to relax anywhere you can. Soften your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, your back, wherever you might normally find gripping or tightening tension. And then as you continue to soften, we'll focus on the breath. First, breathing into the front of your body. So maybe feel your belly expand with your inhale, your front ribs expand, your chest. And as you breathe out, it's the opposite of that. So instead of expanding with your inhale, you're sinking or softening, or almost like a balloon deflating with your exhale. And you don't necessarily need to change the depth or the rhythm of your breath. Just focus on breathing into the front of your body with ease. Breathing in, expanding, breathing out, softening or contracting. Feeling this movement of your breath in the front of your body. And then moving your intention to the sides of your body, still focusing on your breath, but intending more expansion side to side. So as if your waist and your ribs become wider side to side. And then softening with your exhale. So the same breath, expanding on your inhale, softening or contracting gently on your exhale. Yet the focus is slightly different, side to side. Ribs, waist expand outward rather than forward. Although the intention is to be moving subtly from side to side, use as little effort as is necessary. And then finally shifting now to the back of the body. So notice the natural rhythm, natural depth of your breath, moving into your lower back, the back of your ribs, maybe even all the way up to the upper back. Expanding, opening on your inhale. Softening, gently contracting on your exhale. And then attend to all three aspects of your breath. So front body, side body, back body. It's a three-dimensional or 360-degree breath, complete breath. the base of your spine, all the way up to your throat and even into your head. If you're seated, you might experience a lifting or lengthening, like you're growing taller on your inhale. Maybe a softening, compressing, almost shrinking on your exhale. So take a few more breaths like this at your own rhythm, own pace. Noticing the completeness, the fullness of this breath. And then as you continue to relax and just allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm, I have a short reading for you from the book Journey to the Heart by Melody Beattie. Break through your resistance. We sometimes resist new lessons, and what we resist the most is likely to be what we most need to learn. Our lessons usually come with inner conflict. The action we should be taking, the idea we should be learning is sometimes hidden behind a wall of resistance. There's a border, a barrier we need to cross to get into the heart of the lesson. Most times that barrier is within us. Lessons require us to let go of old feelings, old beliefs. Sometimes the very thing we feel guiltiest about doing, the place we're most resistant to visiting, the person we're most convinced we shouldn't contact, or the behavior we're tormenting ourselves most about, is exactly what we need to be doing. And more often than not, the lesson we're learning is not what we think it is. We need to embrace the surprise element of life, embrace the mystery of life as it unfolds, as the lessons appear, as we grow and change. Do what you need to break through your resistance. Often that means simply seeing your resistance for what it is. Remember that the point of greatest resistance is often the place of greatest learning. Remember that point of greatest resistance is often the place of greatest learning. So take another moment to let that idea sink in. Maybe take another few breaths, checking in. Notice if there's any resistance that you're aware of in this moment. And then when you feel ready, blink your eyes open, coming back to awareness, back to full awareness. And if you feel so inclined to take some time to write in a journal or just jot some notes down, the journal prompt that I have for you that's related to this reading is the barrier within. And you finish the sentence. Or another option, if you would like, when I recognize my resistance. And I'll leave these two journal prompts in the description box below if you feel like you would like to practice journaling. So thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again on another practice. Take care.